We change it all around.
Okay.
Here's the military. Look at that picture. That should have Hollywood. Someone out there says, "What were you doing?"
All right. Captain of the guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please run.
So stand room only, huh? Pavilion.
I'd like to introduce Pastor Michelle Ehrenberg, please, for invocation.
Please talk. Good morning. What an honor and a blessing it is to be here with you. And I have to tell you, I'm really here representing Pastor Dick Hillary, who was a World War II veteran and Korean War veteran, and he was supposed to be here, and he is just not well right now. So if you would keep Pastor Dick in your prayers. You have meant so much to him, and I know he wanted me to thank you, Veterans Committee and Kevin Dash and the late Norcian Foundation that puts this on. Thank you for honoring him always and making him feel so proud to be a veteran and proud to be an American. But he is my friend and a fellow pastor at Word Faith Fellowship, so I bring you greetings from my church and also greetings from the Blue Star Mothers. I am a Navy mom, and I am deeply honored to be here today. Even while I was not even a twinkle in my daddy's eye, what happened at Pearl Harbor was impactful on my family. Soon after that infamous day, my daddy was drafted into the Philippine Army to fight with the United States, was captured, and marched in the Bataan Death March and held as a prisoner of war. My mom's parents were also affected. My granddaddy was also captured and held, and my grandma was taken and tortured because they thought she had information. This day, then, affected my family deeply. So I hope to live my life with a tiny bit of the courage that my family members had and make them proud. In Psalm 105, it says, "Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, make known among the nations what he has done. Sing to him, sing praise to him, tell of his wonderful acts. Glory in his holy name. Let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice. Look to the Lord and his strength and seek his face always. Remember the wonders he has done." Would you pray with me? Gracious and loving God, we gather here in this beautiful and history-rich place in remembrance and respect. We invite your presence to be with us. We remember how a moment in time changed the world. We remember the shock and the tragedy, but we also remember the courage of a nation that knew and knows it must stand and fight for its cherished values. We remember the memory of thousands of brave Americans who gave their lives, as well as those who stood with us in our defense. We look back with deep gratitude for their sacrifice. We also ask that you will strengthen and protect those who continue to serve and to sacrifice on our behalf so that we may live in this great land of freedom. As we remember and reflect, May each of us be strengthened in our own resolve to do all we can do to make this world a better place and to stand up for what is right and true and good. We thank you for the freedom to gather here today. Oh Lord, I thank you for the freedom to pray publicly. I thank you for each person here, each family represented, and for the commitment to honor those who have given their all for us. Thank you for this beautiful place, a reminder of the past and the brave men and women who were here. We thank you for those who put so much love and care to gather us and help us all remember. Dear Lord, God bless the families whose lives were forever changed because of what happened at Pearl Harbor. God bless this wonderful community, the city of Norco, Horsetown, USA. God bless all our troops. Lord, please bless President Trump, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Pastor. I'd like to introduce the Harmony Dolls.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I'd like to introduce the city of Norco, United States Army Vietnam veteran, Mayor Ted Poplar.
Right. Forward. March.
Yo, oh,
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, a symbol, our flag, a symbol of the men and women who fought for over 200 years of our nation's history. Please salute by either saluting the Veterans Way or by placing your hand on your mouth. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. We are the Navy base, and lots of us, wait a second here. Lots of us were real happy to see the Navy come. They have the big guns on their ships, and we like that. Yeah, you're laughing, huh? We like that a lot. I'd like to introduce the Harmony Dolls. Here comes the Navy.
In the Navy, a sailor, all the world is just his main street. When you're in the Navy, you're in the world's best fleet. First you take your training as a boot, swing a hammock, navigate and shoot, jump open ships and subs and planes. The 7 seas are open lanes. When the bow is down with Davy Jones, folks will welcome home their Rolling Stones. For every Navy man's a king, and you'll hear everybody sing. Here comes the Navy, break out the red, white, and blue. Here comes the Navy, fighting a sea-going crew. Make way for Navy, Navy with anchors away. Everybody loves the Navy of the USA. First you take your training as a boot, swing a hammock and navigate and shoot, jump open ships and subs and planes. The 7 seas are open, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Here it comes, here it comes, here comes the Navy. La da 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 da. Sing a song of good cheer, 'cause the Navy is here. Everybody loves the Navy of the USA.
Pretty good, I'd say. It sounds just like they sounded back in 1942. Good job. Good job. I gotta tell you, I would be very, very remiss if I didn't give out a special thank you to Supervisor Karen Spiegel. Karen, are you here? Could you stand, please? Karen is the supervisor for the 2nd Supervisorial District. And my friend, and a friend of the military, and just an all-around nice lady. And we appreciate the support that you have given to this event today, and quite frankly, all the other events that you give us in Commemorative. Thank you very much, Karen. Now's the time where I introduce all the VIPs, okay? Right? Are you guys ready for Eastvale and Conrad and everything else? I'm going to introduce the VIPs one time and we'll be done. If you have ever worn the uniform of the United States military, you, sir, you, ma'am, are VIPs. Could you please stand? You're easy to be on anyway, so sit down. You know, lots of times people think about veterans and they see the combat guys. And that's not correct, because quite frankly, without them, without the support of those other people in the military, we would never have seen the enemy or fired a weapon in combat. These were the people who supported us. So I need to give a special shout out. If I were during Vietnam, those of us in combat, listen to this. This is the true statistic. We had 9 other people behind, without whom we had not been successful. So if you were a truck driver in North Carolina hauling ammo from the warehouse to those big airplanes to fly over so that we could use the ammo, Thank you. Without those bullets, we wouldn't have done it. Thank you and welcome home. To the mail clerk in Washington, D.C. We got our mail because this is before Facebook and all this other fancy stuff. All we needed was a letter from home once a month or once every 2 weeks or so. So if you process the mail, thank you and welcome home. To the radar operator above the Arctic Circle, protecting us again, freezing. Thank you and welcome home. To the base newspaper editor in Texas, who kept the Stars and Stripes going so we could read and know what's going on with some of the other people that we were in combat with. Thank you and welcome home. To each and every one of you who was in the military but did not have the opportunity to be in combat, but you were ready to go and you wanted to go, and we knew that you were ready to come and be our supports. Thank you and welcome home. And even today, if you're in a support position, it makes the guys who are out there and the ladies who are out there really feel safe. So we're all veterans. We're on a team. Doesn't matter what you did. Doesn't matter who you were with. Everybody had a job. And we're a team. We're a family. And God bless you and welcome home. Now, we're going to welcome you to today. Yes, now the beginning, okay? You know what we come. Welcome to this year's December 7th ceremony to remember those lost 78 years ago today as one of the Americans who have answered the call to serve our country. Both the heroes who didn't come home and those of us who did come home, and those of us who are still fighting the battle even though our bodies are here. Welcome home. This is the 78th anniversary of the Navy in Riverside County. I was talking to a fellow a couple of days ago. I told him I was going to be doing this. We got a Navy base in Norco, and I said, actually, we do. It's fantastic. And before I got to ask him, what do you guys do? He said, I get the battleships up the St. Anna River. And I said, well, they get some really good helmsmen. They really, really have. In 1941, the United States Navy Hospital was the largest, the number one, was the largest hospital chain, and they opened the doors to sick and wounded sailors and Marines during World War II and the Korean War. The first patients who arrived here were from that terrible, terrible attack at Pearl Harbor. 1951, the Navy chose the old tubercular wards of the Navy Hospital as a site for the missile research and development and assessment. The remarkable legacy of the invention and advancement of missile technology to this day. Quite frankly, we as a country are safer because of this Navy base. I'm going to be introducing some gentlemen in just a second, but quite frankly, without these fellas and their leadership, I don't know what would happen, but I do know this. My son just retired from the Army, but he was a lot safer, his troops a lot safer because of what goes on here, because of the United States Navy. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Captain Jason Sherman. He's the commanding officer of the Naval Weapons Station, Seal Beach. And for those of you who are enlisted people, you don't have to stand up anymore. Captain.
Thank you for the introduction, Dick, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Naval Weapons Station, Seal Beach, Detachment Norco, home of Naval Surface Warfare Center Drone Division. Before I start, I'd like to ask that we take a moment of silence for the victims and families affected by the recent shootings at Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Victim, and Naval Air Station, Pensacola. So as Dick mentioned, I'm the commanding officer of Naval Weapons Station Seal Beach, and our two detachment facilities at Norco here in Norco and also at Fallbrook. We're the landlords of the base, with Naval Surface Warfare Center, Corona Division being our primary tenant. We run the base support functions like security, and I'd like to thank our security forces that are keeping us safe and ensuring that we can have this event. We run public works, environmental operations, while also allowing NSWC personnel to focus on what they do best, supporting the fleet as the Navy's only independent weapon system assessment center. We're proud to be associated with this team of outstanding NSWC professionals and the great work that they do for our nation. Their services are in high demand throughout the Department of Defense, and their mission is constantly growing. We're also very proud of our Navy relationship with the surrounding community, especially with the cities of Norco, Corona, Riverside, as well as the Lake Norconian Club Foundation. I appreciate everyone's support in joining us today in uncertain weather to help us honor all veterans of our past conflicts, especially those personnel at Pearl Harbor during the attack 78 years ago. The Pearl Harbor attack caught the United States largely unprepared, and especially during the first 6 months of the war, the outcome could have gone either way. Think about that for a second. Throughout the war, the phrase, "Remember Pearl Harbor," was a rallying cry for Americans. It should be today as well. We must always remember the cost of being unprepared, and there is no better teacher than our own history. If we forget our own history, and if we let it slip into non-existence through neglect, we only make it more likely that we will repeat the mistakes of the past. So, it's very important for us to host community events like this, and as time moves on, the number of living participants to history naturally declines. As a result, we need to remember to keep our shared history alive. Thank you again for coming. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Captain. I think if you look around earlier today, there are a lot of fellas walking around with Air Force hats on and Navy hats and Army hats and oh, those guys. Well, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of jabbing and pushing and shoving and you're this and that and everything else, but the Navy is held in high moral by the United States Marine Corps. And I just happen to have brought with me some reasons why the Marines like the Navy. The chow aboard ship is so much better than K-RATs, C-RATs, and MREs. All expense paid trips. Some of us went to the Caribbean. Some of us went to the Med. And who can forget those fun-filled places in the Pacific? They brought us there. God bless them. But you know what? It's the Navy Marine Corps team. And listen to this. They also, especially if you World War II guys, they gave us rides into combat in those Cooperland amphibious personnel carriers. Remember those? With the thing and the drop down on the front? They were fun. But never forget that they always came back to pick us up. That's why we like the Navy. Navy nurses, Navy doctors. My story, I know what you're thinking, it's coming. Pensacola, the flight school to train the best aviators in the world. Navy pilots, Marine Corps pilots, the best pilots. They all went to Pensacola. Seabees, Bobby Spiegel's dad. Seabees, these guys, I swear to God, these guys never thought they were going to get hurt. They would just go out and build stuff, and then of course the Marines would come in and take over. But the Seabees were the guys that did that stuff. Navy gunfire. Those are support from the big guys in the family. And we like what you fellas are doing to improve the Navy gunfire. Thank you. Annapolis, was a school for generals. You didn't get just to be a general because you were good looking. Annapolis was where you were trained. Hospital ships. Give me a second, man. The repose, the sanctuary, the refuge, the mercy, the comfort. We would fly, I was a crew chief on a medevac helicopter, we would fly Marines out to these ships, and they would all be greeted by personnel, and a lot of lives were saved because of Navy hospital ships. That's a big reason why we like the Navy. But the number one reason, can anybody think of what the number one reason why the Marine Corps likes the Navy? What do you think it is, Captain? What do you think it is? Corpsmen. We like corpsmen. These guys weren't the smartest guys in the Navy. They thought this caduceus that they would wear in their collar, that was like the guard-all shield. It would protect them, and they would never get hit. These Navy corpsmen had the biggest sets of, Chris, what's the word I can use? Yeah, those. Whenever you see a dock, be it a Navy corpsman, Army medic, an Air Force medic, Coast Guard, Army, who am I forgetting again? Marines? We didn't have them. That's why we like the United States Navy. God bless the United States Navy. Thank you. This is truly an honor to introduce Captain Henry Bray. He's the commanding officer of this place. This is the guy. This is the top of the hill. Doesn't get any better at this particular base. He makes this place work, and we thank you very, very much, Captain. Could you come on up and share a few words with our people?
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Unfortunately, I don't have that list of why I like the Marine Corps, but I did serve on USS Pearl Harbor. We did carry the Marines in and out of harm's way. So, on that, and thank you all for coming here today. And it's an honor for me to be here today. The call to serve is one that has been in my family for many generations, and I truly came to appreciate Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day when I had the opportunity to be assigned to USS Pearl Harbor, as I just mentioned. That was my first ship in the Navy. I was able to host many of the Pearl Harbor survivors while assigned to their namesake ship. They were great Americans from the greatest generation. The stories and lessons learned that they told us are just as applicable today as they were then. In 1941, as Americans grappled with the tragedy of Pearl Harbor, the Navy took a key role in the protection of our country, as NSWC Corona here in Norco took a key role in the treatment of our injured soldiers, as mentioned. As fate would have it, the Navy purchased Naval Hospital Corona just one day before Pearl Harbor and just one day after the attack. It was commissioned 30 miles from the coast, just outside the range of the main guns from the Japanese battleships. It was a safe place for our wounded warriors. Ever since, NSWC has continued to be committed to our sailors, our Navy, and our country. Naval warfare is undergoing a rapid transition. Acting Secretary of the Navy, Admiral Modley, just published yesterday his SecNav Vector memo, and the acceleration of digital modernization across the force is one of his top 3 priorities, and that's the work we're doing here, right here in Norco. With 291 ships and about 30% of which are underway today, and more than 3,700 airplanes, the Navy is more important to national security than ever. We are the first line of defense of our America and the world's protector of trade across the waterways. Ensuring more than 90% of all trade and 99% of digital information is kept safe. It is absolutely imperative that we, at NSWC, provide the needed technology to the fleet so we can continue to be the protector of trade and information. And so the Navy can deliver a combat-credible maritime force ready to conduct prompt and sustained combat operations at sea. Corona continues and is absolutely vital to the Navy's data-centric future. As leader in NAVSEA's data analytics capability, Corona is making great progress across several initiatives that will ensure warfighters ready to win across a full range of military operations. As the Department of the Navy continues to lean on technology and connections to build a more networked fleet and expand its ability to dominate the threat, in close partnership with the Marine Corps, is transforming the way the Navy, the American warfighter, does business through enterprise capabilities and technology that really makes a difference in day-to-day operations. One of the top lessons learned from Pearl Harbor is that you must be ready. You must be ready every day. That is still a top priority of the Navy today as it was then, to be ready. We must be 5 times and 10 times faster than our adversaries in ships and weapons. We must continue to invest in our weapons, our sensors, and our ship platforms. We must find ways to automate information and get it out the fleet faster. Again, that's what we're doing here at NSWC Corona. 78 years ago, we learned the lessons the hard way, but we also learned the strength and resiliency of our nation. One day after the attacks, Congress declared war, and President Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared to Congress, no matter how long it may take us to overcome the premeditation invasion